give y'all a little bit of update today of what's going on here before we get into today's video. My sister, who is older than me, she's had cancer in her lifetime. She's had colon cancer. They took it out and she survived it. Well, she's full-blown diabetic where she has to take shots, insulin, everything like that. And today she had to go into surgery to have part of her foot amputated. And from what I'm hearing is that she's having some severe issues. They can't get her to wake up. Something's going on with her sugar real bad. So I mean, it's not looking good, but she'll pull through. She'll pull through. But there's a little update of what's going on. I mean, if you pray, maybe say a prayer for my sister. And if you don't pray, just kind of keep her in your thoughts, right? She's having a pretty rough time here today after this surgery. The last report I got was that they can't get her to wake up. So that's the last report I got. I'll know more in a little bit. Let's talk about today's video. We're constantly hearing that Biden needs to get out of the election, right? That he needs to just pull himself and quit running for president. A lot of people are confused. They think if he quits running for president, then he's going to resign from the Oval Office and not be president anymore, right? It's not what's going to happen. I personally don't think he's going to, pull out of the election, which he may. What I'm more along the line thinking is going to happen is possibly we're going to see, like, maybe he has a heart attack or a stroke, some kind of serious health issue that would prevent him from running, right? That's what I'm thinking we're going to have here. And it's not going to have nothing to do with his brain functions that they're all talking about, that he's having memory lapses and things like that. I think we're going to see a more major health issue possibly that would require him to drop out of the election. With that said, he would still be the president until the inauguration, unless they invoke, the 25th Amendment, and then Kamala comes in there. Who are they going to replace him with, right? We're coming up short time here to get him replaced, if they're going to replace him, just a couple months. You've got Kamala Harris, you've got Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom. Those are the big names we're hearing. We're starting to hear a little bit about Hillary Clinton. But there's not enough time there to win the election, right, if they switch out candidates. And one thing I want to make very clear, if they do switch out, or if Biden stays in and Trump loses this time, what happened the last election is going to be nothing what happens this time. I mean, you would know 100% sure that the election is rigged then, right? I mean, look how far Biden's popularity is declining. And Trump's just keeps going up, up, and up, right? And if he was to lose this time, the people that don't think the elections are selections instead of elections would be like, wait a minute here, something's not right. Because I watch a lot of, where they do polls, like real polls, not what we hear on the news, but like where people are actually out on the street stopping people saying, who are you going to vote for, right? Some of them do say they're going to vote for Biden. Some of them, majority of them say they're going to vote for Trump. But you are hearing this also. This is how bad the Democrats are. I'll vote for anybody as long as it's not Trump. That is why we're in the position we're in the United States. It's simple as that. That's why I'm sorry I'm sweating. I just came in from outside. But that's why we're in the position we're in. Because I'm just not going to vote for him because I don't like him. I don't care who's over here, I'm going to vote for him because I don't like that one, right? And that just keeps getting us in worse and worse shape in America. It really does. Trump would probably cakewalk this election, right? We're all thinking he's going to cakewalk it, which means he's going to go in there and he's probably going to win the majority of the states and all the electoral college votes, right? Imagine if he doesn't win this time. There's no way this thing wouldn't be rigged, right? Number one, Biden, who is actually running our country? If he's unable to sit there for 90 minutes and do a debate, which really wasn't a debate, y'all watched it, and y'all that didn't has probably seen clips of it. Wasn't really a debate, nothing like we'd ever seen before, right? They was allowed to take breaks, and when Biden come out, he was firing on all 8 cylinders, right? He was a V8, and he was trucking on down the road because you could tell he was reading off a script. As soon as he come out and opened up, it's bam, 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 bam. But as soon as the questions started getting asked, he couldn't keep up, right? He was bouncing all over the place, talking about defeating Medicare. And I've said it before about Trump. As soon as he was asked about the deportation of illegals, he jumped around the question and never really answered it. They asked him, are you going to deport all illegal immigrants? And he jumped around. Number one, a candidate, no matter if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Constitutionalist, whatever they call themselves, right? They're going to tell you what you want to hear. It's plain and simple. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. Don't believe everything they say. Number one, Trump was president before and he couldn't get all the stuff done that he said he was going to get done because of you've got laws that you've got to go through. You've got to go through Congress and all this to get this stuff passed, right? He does have, what is it, executive orders and things like that. But you're going to see if Trump gets in there, you're going to see a hard time for him to get things passed. You really are. It sounds great on paper, right? We're going to come in, we're going to deport all the illegals, we're going to put tariffs on this country, tariffs on that country, and people are going to have more money in their pocket, and prices are going to flatline or stay the same, right? Number one, companies are not going to pay you more. Look what's happened already. They've already raised their pay in most places, right? We've said it before. If you were making $10 an hour, now you're making $15 an hour. But unfortunately, that $15 an hour is less than the $10 an hour once you figure inflation into it, right? You heard them say that it would cost $100 a couple years ago, now it costs $125 at the grocery store. That is straight bull crap. We all know that. What cost $100 a couple years ago is now well over $200 if you go to the store. We've said it before. People have to pick and choose what they're going to buy, right? And you're going to be like, well, you should shop within your means, right? You got to understand there's some people out here who can only afford a set amount of groceries. That's all they can afford, and they go to the grocery store and that price is doubled or tripled. It hurts. It hurts bad. That's another way to get people off meat, right? Raise the price of meat so high that people can't afford it, and then people will start buying this fake meat crap that they're trying to push on us. Got a little off subject, but let's get back on it here. Now, if Biden wins another election, America can't make it another 4 years. They can't. You're hearing a lot about Kennedy. Maybe he's going to run in. He's just going to be in there and kind of mess up the vote, honestly. Unless he gets a lot of support, he's going to mess up the vote. One thing that helps him is people, John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, all the Kennedys. You know who they are. If you're an American, you know who the Kennedys are and how much power they used to have. That's what's helping him. He's running on name alone pretty much. I've listened to some of the stuff he says he would like to do. Just like I said, they're all going to tell you what they want you to hear, but when it comes down to the nut cutting time, they're not actually going to do it, no matter who's president. Now, if Biden wins, America cannot withstand another 4 years. We're already fallen so far in the last, I'm going to go ahead and say the last 5 years. You got to back it up to about 2019, right? About 5 years ago is when it really started going downhill bad with the pandemic and then all this and that. The prices, shortages, all this. Blame that person, blame this person. It's fake, it's real. You understand what I'm saying? Now, 4 more years of Biden, I firmly believe, number one, prices would be so outrageous that people you're going to be homeless. You're not going to be able to afford to eat. You ever heard the saying, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy? That's where we'll be. 4 more years puts us where? 2028, right? So, and we all know about what they're trying to do by 2030, 2035. But guys, I don't think we can vote our way out of this. I really do not believe we can vote our way out of this. Now, I'm not telling you it's not your duty to vote. It is your duty as a citizen to go vote. But I don't think we can vote our way out of it. I don't think whoever gets in there can fix this. I think it's at the point where it's unfixable. Number one, with the debt as high as it is, I'm not sure what it is today, but let's just call it 37 trillion. You can't pay that back. There's no way to pay it back. We operate in a deficit budget. That's how we operate in the United States. If you and I operated a business the way the United States runs a business, number one, we'd be in jail for tax evasion. Number two, you would never get a loan. You know how maybe one week you can't pay your employees, you need to go get a payroll loan? Not going to happen. But the United States government just keep printing that money here, right? And eventually, the rooster's going to come home, and when he does, you're going to have issues. You're going to have issues. How do I see it happening? I don't think another country would invade us, but I think our economy wouldn't fully crash like, the Great Depression or anything like that, as far as the stock market completely crashing, because it is built not to crash. It's got 3 stops. Once it hits the 3rd stop, they shut down for the day to keep it from crashing, right? Plain and simple. Look at what Russia did when their stock market started crashing. They just closed it until things steadied out, right? They just closed it, and they're doing all right over there now as far as money-wise, right? And a lot of people will say, well, Russia, this and that, the ruble. But you get what I'm saying. They'll just close our stock market. But I think the prices of things would go up so much that you might possibly have anarchy in the United States. Well, if people can't afford food, if you control the food, you control the people. And if people can't afford food, now I'm talking about the basic food. If they can't afford the basic foods, then you're going to have issues, right? Major issues. Housing market, we've talked about it here. Right now, I've been looking around. Houses built in, let's just say 2015. They sold in 2019 for $100,000 to $165,000. Some of you are going to say that's cheap. It's higher here. You got to understand, my area average bring home pay is $9 to $12 an hour after taxes. You got a house that was built 7-8 years ago, $150,000. Today on the market, that house is listed at $400,000, $350,000, $400,000, $500,000. Right? It's doubled, tripled what it's worth. And people are going, well, there's going to be a housing market crash. You know, 2008 is going to happen again. The housing market's going to crash. I don't think it will, because you had people that were actually building houses during the pandemic that were paying $10, $12, $15 a two-by-four, right? And the banks were loaning money on that. Well, the banks is propping all this up, right? The bank and the government's propping all this up. That's why we're still seeing high property prices, because the banks got to make it look like, well, these houses that we built that would have cost $50,000 to build, now during the pandemic cost us $200,000, right? Eventually it's going to fall, but I don't think the prices will fall. I think what will happen is you're going to have these big real estate companies, developers, they will come in and will gladly pay the price of the property that's in your area, right? They'll pay it, and they'll either just sit on it or they'll turn it into a subdivision and build and make a bunch of money, right? Because they've got the financial backing to do that. A person like you or I, we go out here and we're like, well, I'd like to buy 10 acres. What's it going for in my area? And most of you are going to be like me. You're going to be like, holy shit, really? $100,000 for 10 acres of woods? You know, I know it's higher in other places. But just think, 4 more years of that, we're not going to make it as a country. We're not. Number one, if Biden wins this election, if he stays in, or any Democrat wins this election, with all the popularity that Trump has, man, you know something's up. Come on, you know something's up, right? You would know. You would physically be, even the Democrats that are pulling away from Biden would be like, something ain't right with this. But guess what? We're not allowed to talk about that, right? We're not allowed to disagree with the election results anymore. You're not allowed to say nothing, because if you do, you're a conspiracy theorist, you know, you're this or that. But they can holler Russian interference all they want, can't they? But if you or I or anybody says something ain't right with this, you need to shut your mouth. You're spreading false information. That's what we hear. But guys, there's the video. Like I said, my sister, she had surgery to get part of her foot removed today, and she's not doing real good. She hasn't woke up yet. They're having problems waking her up, and her sugar either crashed or it went sky high. I don't really remember. When they were talking to me, I was just kind of, you know how it is. Your head kind of, you get a Biden moment, I guess what we can call it. But let me know your thoughts on this video. Number one, do you think Biden's going to drop out? Number two, do you think the Democrats are going to carry the election, whether he drops out and somebody else comes in or he stays in? Number three, do you think Trump's just going to walk straight into the office, no issues? He's going to carry all the votes. Let me know your thoughts on it. Comment on this. Share this with your friends. I'd like to know your thoughts on it, because this needs to be discussed. Because we're in some crazy times right now, guys. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person who can do it. Stay safe. Keep prepping. And let me know your thoughts on this. Seriously. I would like to hear what y'all think. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe some of y'all are like, I don't think Trump's going to win, Biden's going to win. Let me know. Stay safe, y'all. Keep prepping.